was a commercial for vampire stuff. Yeah. There was Matt, and we're like, wow, and Kat was like, what did you say? You're like,
I said he looked hot even though he was painted white.
he was all kind of pale. What about a question for the tall man right over there?
Little Tommy.
I mean, I think that as far as manning up or whatnot, with Ahsoka, I've had a really concerted, focused effort at where she started in the Clone Wars film, and as far as what her evolution is going to be in this entire series. You know, I have a very focused goal with her and where she's going to end up, and part of that is stripping away the kind of yippee-skippy, happy attitude that you see. It's not to say she's not a positive character. I think she's an incredibly positive character. And I think the days of her telling Anakin to man up, I mean, you know, those are kind of gone. If it happens in a way that, you know, Han yells at Luke, you know, nice shot, kid, don't get cocky. You know, and she kind of plays back and forth off of his own confidence that he has really taught her. And I think that's something that we've worked tremendously on. They become more like peers and brother and sister than anything else. And I mean, before every voice record session, I tell Ashley he's super nice and cute to take all the cute fuzziness and focus it all into a little tiny ball, get all the giggling out.
What's the note?
Away.
What's the note? Kicking puppies or something?
Yeah, you know, because I don't, you know, I want Ahsoka to live in a slightly more hardened state because she's been, you know, in a war for quite a long period of time now. And even though she's faced mainly battle droids, she has a lot of difficult challenges this year, and she has a lot of revelations to what the nature of the Clone War really is. And I think that those revelations occur for the audience as well.
I think if anything, rather than, you know, telling Anakin to man up, I think she kind of starts to take on a little his characteristics a bit in season 3. You know, she is becoming her own Jedi in her own way, but I think she's kind of taking Anakin's characteristics into her own. Actually,
Padawans are shaped by their masters.
Yeah, and I mean, she still does question him from time to time, but yes, a lot of the snippiness and sarcasm is gone. She cares for him so much, and defends him and sticks up for him and cares about what he thinks, and they've gotten a lot closer. I feel like you said, brother and sister.
Yeah, a little more brother sister than.
Yeah, so a lot of the snippiness and just the jabs here and there are gone.
I think the questioning is more on the lines of, but you taught me this in the beginning, and this is the Jedi code. How come you're saying differently? Well, Ahsoka, it just happens that I believe if we had more security than this clone military, then we wouldn't have gotten in the Clone War in the first place. So instead of just getting Anakin's, you know, more pragmatic side of this is how you train as a Jedi, she's starting to get the teachings that he's getting via Palpatine about how the Republic will be restructured into an empire, which Anakin is getting throughout the years from Palpatine. He's very much a replacement father figure who competes with Obi-Wan for Anakin's destiny, basically. Palpatine versus Obi-Wan.
Yeah, and I think that Ahsoka is kind of like how I looked at Obi-Wan sometimes too, where kind of the eyes of the audience. She's kind of all of us at a lot of points at this, I would say, at this point in the storyline, and she kind of takes those emotions on. But the best thing for us as being a cast that get to record together is watching these scenes and watching the acting with Ashley that she's been doing, which has been tremendous, and then also some very cool scenes with Matt and Ashley in the scene too. It's fun.
Well, but I have to say, these guys, because I'm still a Padawan in voiceover acting, and there's one episode, there's a three-part.
Careful.
Yeah. Anyways, there's some episodes coming up.
Mindful of your thoughts,
And I really didn't know how to read the scene at all. It was a very difficult scene, and James came over and he said, "Try it this way. I think she'd read it this way," and it worked. And honestly, I wouldn't have even given that performance hadn't have, you know, us working together as a cast and just taking their advice and expertise on voiceover.
It's one of the great benefits of working as an ensemble together in the studio as we record the story, that we can feed off of each other and that it organically, the solution to what this particular scene has to be, we come up with that right there together as a team.
Arnie from Star Wars Action News. When the Clone Wars started, it seemed like there was this big assumption about the 5 years out there, but I've never seen an official statement that it's going to run 5 years. Does the Clone Wars series have an expiration date set, or is it based on ratings?
We're in a very unique position as far as my experience in animation with the Clone Wars, in that it seems like we're going to be making it as long as George likes it. He's so independent that way. He spoke about it a little bit with his movies yesterday and how he's independent from the bigger system, and he was going to make those movies because he wanted to make them, regardless of what everybody else thought. And I have felt that way making this show, and I've always felt like I really just need to prove its value to George time and again. I mean, I'm really happy that Cartoon Network loves the show so much and that they're incredibly supportive. But really, my audience is George, first and foremost. And my CG supervisor, Joel Aaron, hopping around taking pictures, he and I were just talking yesterday about how listening to George talk about how he made those movies and being up against the wall of problems and not knowing how you would accomplish anything. People saying, wow, we can't really do this, George. How are we going to do it? And we're up against that all the time in the Clone Wars. We don't have a canned formula to make a show. We have things we want to do, whether they make sense or not for the time and budget that we have. And we just try to figure out a way to do them. We just forge straight ahead. And Joel and I would rather, if the Clone Wars ever ends, it will probably end because we burned out brightly trying to do something completely ridiculous in animation for television, and it just completely broke, and Joel's and mine went nuts, and that's it. And that would be, I think, a great way to go out artistically. Just
huddled in the corner, drooling.
Yeah, we just fully broke. I don't think that we would go out with the whimper lagging out. I mean, I just can't imagine it. And really, I've told the fans here already, it's really up to them. I mean, I think there is a level that if they're going to watch it, we will keep making it. The other level is probably like, we'll keep making it regardless, and George will watch it at home and have a great time. And he'll be the only one that knows what happens to Ahsoka. So, I mean, he is right now anyway. So, I mean, that's the way I look at it.
At the end, we all go to jail.
A question for Dave. Dave, in the press release, it says that in this transformative new season, the fate of the galaxy hangs in the balance. The destiny of the chosen one will at long last be uncovered. Don't we already know what's being uncovered and who's the chosen one you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, to answer that would be to answer a lot about those particular episodes. That particular copy, when I read that, I said, oh yeah, the destiny of the chosen one as far as bringing balance to the Force and the bigger picture of the Star Wars universe and the confrontation between Anakin and Darth Vader and the Emperor, and that all does get resolved in the big arc of the 6th film. So I kind of thought, well, that's kind of known. But I think that the bigger questions on a very personal level, as far as Anakin and the Jedi always running around in the prequel saying, you're the chosen one. That really comes up. We haven't really said it in the series much at all. And you would think it'd be foremost on everybody's mind, like everybody's just kind of waiting to see what kind of magic Anakin is going to whip out to be, indeed the chosen one. And Henry Gore and I often talked about what they must think it means to be the chosen one in this time of war. We thought maybe they think it means that unlike most of the other Jedi, Anakin's incredibly adept at fighting. And he is incredibly adept at fighting, and he's incredibly powerful. So that there seems to be some relevance to his fighting in the Clone War. But as far as the nature of that balance and what does Yoda and Mace Windu, what do they believe it really means to have balance? It seems to me it means that a lot of Jedi have to die to bring balance, because there's an imbalance already. You can't have lightness without darkness in a lot of philosophy. So I think those things are attacked in a lot more detail, and at least tested in a lot more detail. And to reveal any more would be a little bit dangerous. But mark my words, what I know of you, my friend, your podcast will analyze the episodes that revolve around that statement in that article more than almost anything we've done. If you want, it will be a special, and you will be calling me, and I might have to fly out to Ohio or wherever you are to be in studio to kind of deal with your emotions. When I say that season 3 deals with big time stuff, it deals with big time stuff. And it deals with a lot of, things that I think that personally, on a very personal level, we've been waiting to have at least brought to the front of the story. And when George was handing out some of the season 3 outlines to me and the writers, we were just like, wow, really? 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 And that it was a great time for us as a group of writers to just have an experience sitting down with him and getting into the nature of those things. So you will not be disappointed. If you are, we'll still make a great discussion. But you won't be.